This is the story of a girl traveling to Sweden on her own to experience what life does there for her. Will she feel more calm, inspired, creative? The girl in this story is me. I'm Valerie, I'm a photographer and artist from the Netherlands, and I want to know what it's like to be in a place where people live a bit more slowly and close to nature. And someone once told me, if you feel that something sparks something inside of you, don't be afraid to explore that with what you have and what you can right now. So at the end of May, I rented out my apartment and drove up north to Sweden. I knew that coming to Sweden, I wanted to live in a way that I could meet local people to really get a feeling of what it's like living here. So before I got here, I contacted a woman, a modern witch as I've heard some call her. She lives at a farm on top of a hill in a town called Näsaker. It's a very small town in the middle of Sweden with around 500 people living there. It's famous for its rock carvings, the wild river, and people who live a bit more alternative lifestyle. The farm is run by two women. They grow their own vegetables, and there's a herbal garden which is well known in the area. Many people from all over Sweden come here to follow a one-year course to learn more about medicinal plants. But I've seen that this course is much more than that. It's also like a loving space for people to really connect with themselves and each other. And I'm now working at this farm in exchange for accommodation and food. And I'm not the only one working here, because there's actually another girl from the Netherlands and a guy who can build anything, it feels like, who's from Germany. And they have both traveled so much more than I have, and it's really inspiring to get to know them better and to hear their stories. It really has felt like family.
So this is a fika. Dus ik heb een nieuwe plek nodig. Precies.
And life here is so different than my life back home in the city. It feels like going back in time in a way. And it also felt surreal in many moments, like I'm reading a book or watching a movie. But this time, I was part of the story. So I stayed at the farm for 5 weeks, and I'm currently at an Airbnb that I have all to myself for 2 weeks. And I'm looking forward to explore life in Sweden a bit more on my own now. Because I thought coming to Sweden I would feel more calm instantly. But honestly, so much has happened. And I've also had a bit of a lack of sleep because of the bright evenings and the bright nights. And I did a lot of things in between work as well, and I met so many different people. So compared to my life back in the Netherlands, I'm doing so much. And for me personally, that sometimes also gets a little bit too overwhelming, and then I need to take good care of myself to really process everything. So I think having a bit more quiet time in my own Airbnb will do me some good. And a big highlight has definitely been going to the opening of the shop of Jonna Jinton. I think I've been following her for 5 years now, maybe even longer. And I absolutely love the way she documents her life and how she captures the magic of nature, but also the person that she is, really. She's so loving and kind. And every time I watch her videos, it also touches on an essence of something that I also want to do with my creative work. Because I've been using my photography skills to make a living for myself and to help other businesses grow with photos for a long time. But I also really want to use these skills in a more artistic way to explore my inner world a bit more and nature and just life in general. And I think Jonna does this so beautifully. So going to her shop and meeting her in real life was so special. But I would have never thought in a million years what happened the days after the opening. Because I went back on the second day to have a look if it was still as busy as the first day. But there was no people outside anymore. It was just inside and it was a lot less crowded. So it was really nice actually. So I walked around the shop and I saw a lot of people we've met on the first day. And all of a sudden I had this rush of inspiration that I really wanted to capture these people. Because one of the things I felt was that it was not just about Jonna and the shop, but it was much more than that. It was really about all of us. And later I sent some photos to the lovely women of Ceramics for Your Soul. A day later, they sent me a photo that they showed Jonna and Johan my photos and that they were liking them. And it was this like surreal moment that Jonna was now looking at my photos. And then she also shared some on her Instagram and she started following me. And then one day later we had a talk about creativity over a coffee. And I think this whole weekend has just been so surreal. And I think I cannot describe into words what it meant for me, because I've been struggling with my creativity for a long time. And when it's for work, it feels different because it's a bit more anonymous. But when it's more personal work, putting it out there feels so much more vulnerable. So knowing that Jonna liked my work and feeling kind of this blessing from her, it feels like the ultimate permission to just keep going and to believe in myself a bit more. So I'm so thankful that I got to have this experience. And not only because of Jonna, but really the love that I felt from so many people these days. And the connections and conversations that I had at the farm too. I'm so grateful to have met these people. And I don't think they know how much them opening up about their stories has set me free as well. I think by following the things that spark something inside of you, it will lead to opportunities and experiences that will mean something to you. And many of them you cannot plan in advance. And it's not an easy road. Trust me, I've had some really tough days here as well. But I guess that's where growth comes from, right? So, do I feel more creative now that I'm here? Actually, I think so. But maybe the answer is not as simple as just being closer to nature. I think the reason why is that I don't have space to overthink actually. Because everything happens so fast and the days go by so quickly as well, that I really have to act in the moment. If I want to film something or take a photograph, I just have to do it. And maybe that's what I personally really need to tap more into my creativity. Because making stuff sets things into motion and gives me the inspiration to then do the next thing. And I'm still here for another month, so let's see what will happen next. And thank you so much for watching if you're still here.